Treetrunk Records is a net label that I established in December of 2005. The label's main presence is at archive.org, where it has over 750,000 visits at this time. It will soon have over 400 releases in its discography. Treetrunk began as a means to showcase fractal and generative music. I felt that my experiments in algorithmic composition would have a hard time finding a label home, and with that in mind, and in part with the urging of collaborator C.P. McDill of Webbed Hand Records, I created Treetrunk Records. The name of the label came both from the naturally fractal growth of trees and from the role a tree trunk plays as the base and supporting part of additional structures. I would like to take a moment to sincerely thank all of the many hundreds of musicians appearing on the net label in the past 12 years. All contributions were selected and approved by myself, and all were worthy of appearing in the net label. Treetrunk Records has some interesting features. Very early releases were mainly of a fractal generative nature, including the iconic Fractal Diner series. In 2006, I opened the door to phonographic releases, kicking off with Mystified South City Spring and Nocturne, both being pivotal collections of field recordings and collages made with phonographic material. The Constant series appeared in 2009. This was a collection of pieces created by various artists, the goal being to make as minimal and ambient drone as possible while still being listenable. An interesting release curated in part by Margaret Noble, This Is Not a Test, was broadcast live at the Pritzker Pavilion in Chicago in August of 2008. It contained dozens of works assembled to honor the Windy City. Over the years, the net label hosted many works, such as those by artists Sidisa, K.M. Krebs, C. Reader, Palancar, Shane Morris, and the list goes on and on. In 2010, Treetrunk was honored to host Gregory Wild's Gas Tank Orchestra, which is an ensemble that uses as source material sounds created using only automobile parts. For several years, Philip Wilkerson's Complex Silence series, with its distinctive brand of ambient audio, was showcased at the net label. Premier ambient artist Forrest Fang graced Treetrunk Records with his excellent EP Seeds of Memory in 2012. In the mid-2010s, Treetrunk hosted two unauthorized tributes to heroes of the underground music scene, Robin Story of Rappoon and Nigel Ayers of Nocturnal Emissions. Both of these releases involved original contributions by dozens of artists. Throughout the years, I continued to post my own material as my various acts, Mystified, Mr. Vapor, Grid Resistor, Model 201, and other incarnations. I was always proud to release my material on my home base, Treetrunk. In 2017, Gerald Fiebig worked with me to host a selection of works that were broadcast in installations at the listening room in the Abraxas Arts Center. Based in Augsburg, Germany, the Arts Center had been a military bunker for both Axis and Allied forces. This series featured a long-form work by Robin Story himself called Grassland's Dream of Electric Sheep. After over a dozen years of showcasing quality-free ambient drone and various experimental musics, Treetrunk Records remains a stellar example of the net label scene, offering its releases free of charge to hundreds of thousands of listeners.